You get a good start, jumping Nicholas Latifi. Look at that, 3 cars heading into turn 1. He doesn't have DRS, he goes for the defense, and we're going to try it around the outside. We're about to finish and cross the line. And have you ever wondered just how much slow a Monaco setup would be around Monza? Well, today we're going to find out. So first you have to go and qualify. So we have opted for the 15-minute qualifying, and we're right now on the final one of the session. There are about 2 minutes to go before the session ends. You can see all the other guys going out right now, and we're going to be right in the middle of that pack. The reason why is because we want to take advantage of the slipstream, because all this downforce is going to be making us super slow on the straights, and hopefully the slipstream will kind of mitigate that problem, I guess, because they also do this in real life F1, so surely it should work in the game. But unfortunately, Codemasters decided to make the slipstream super weak inside of the game, so I doubt this is going to work. As you saw us following Esteban Ocon there out of the pits, we're now going to start our lap. We've got a McLaren just behind us. Hopefully they don't pose too big of a problem against us, especially with our pace deficit and the fact that we're so slow in the straights. You can just see them there in the mirror, just catching up to us before we've even hit the braking zone, which is crazy. And now we get a really good exit compared to our earlier laps, and now almost half a second up as we head through Curva Grande. But you can see the McLaren there looking to make a move in the middle of qualifying as Lewis Hamilton sets a provisional pole position. Thankfully the McLaren thinks better of it. I think that's Lando Norris judging by the helmet. Now through the middle sector, which is where we are the strongest, we're going to try and make up as much time as possible, and you can see us there pulling a little bit of a gap against the McLaren behind us. But now through this straight they're going to gain back all of that distance that we just made up in the middle sector. You can see them crawling back right up to our gearbox as we now head into Ascari, once again an area where we hope to have a strong point, but nope, the McLaren is just keeping up with us. Let me tell you, Ascari is so difficult on the controller, but when you combine that with the downforce of the car, it just makes it so that every time you touch the curb, the car just gets really unstable, and that's why I was a bit conservative and actually lost a bit of time there. As you can see in the McLaren, they're almost looking to make a move on the inside. We thankfully stay ahead, and where do we finish? We are starting in last place, as expected, even slower than the Haas. Maybe my difficulty was just a bit too high, as we get a good start, jumping both Nicholas Latifi and Mazepin, who is no longer an F1 driver. And heading into turn 1, we're going to take advantage of the fact that the AI kind of sucks into the game. Usually they'd go like 3 or 4 wide in here, but the AI for some reason thinks only 2 wide is possible. But you can see us already making up a huge chunk of positions out of P22 and ending up P16 just out of the first chicane. Now we're going to look to make a move on George Russell and Kimi Raikkonen, but thinking better of it, because he would have cut us off there, and either way that was going to be a very optimistic dive bomb. Maybe if I was like the average F1 2021 online player, I would have gone for that move, but I decided I'd rather have my front wing, especially on a track like Monza where that damage will cost you so much time on the straights. Now we have George Russell chasing us from behind, and is he going to make a move, or do we have enough of a gap to stay ahead? Thankfully we do, but now the focus is on making sure we can keep up with Kimi Raikkonen so that we can get that DRS, because slipstream trains are pretty much common around Monza, because if you don't have the DRS then you lose out on so much lap time. But now George Russell looking to make the move down the inside. He was actually ahead there, but decides to brake a little conservatively there and slots back in just behind us. As we now are on the main straight, he's going to be making another move, and I bet he'll make the move long before the braking zone as he pulls out to the side, and even Yuki Tsunoda moves over, even an Aston Martin now. Look at that, 3 cars heading into turn 1 as Russell locks up there, and we get to take advantage of that, bumping wheels there. Thankfully nothing catastrophic, because the F1 game doesn't really simulate the tire physics of like tires bumping into each other, because if you've ever watched real life races, you know the cars just get launched like crazy. But now defending against Russell, just taking a slightly defensive line as we brake for the corner, and thankfully we can stay ahead. And now we head through the Lesmos, which is where we have our strong point. Can we gain some time through here and prevent and like build a gap against George Russell so that he doesn't get the DRS? We will see. But now we actually gained about 3/10 just on that section alone, but we just lost quite a bit of it, and now Russell there not close enough to make a move, but now DRS is enabled, and now we are at risk of being overtaken by pretty much the entire field that's just behind us, and we're just holding back. We're just barely staying in range of Kimi Räikkönen now, just slightly out of the DRS zone. Thankfully, we're going into the middle sector, which is where we're going to make up a lot of time, especially with that train of cars there, still slowing him down just a little bit and allowing us to still stay within reach. Thankfully for us, 8 tenths down, and we get to take advantage of DRS and stay within range of everyone else. But no moves made over there. And now, ending lap 3 and starting lap 4, George Russell is about halfway taken down on us. I bet he's going to make a move on us. Let's see how he's going to do this. You can see him there in our rear view mirror. Now he's going to pull over into the inside. I'm not even going to defend because I know he's got this move done, but I decide to do the old switcheroo and send it down the inside of George Russell. And thankfully we get to keep our position of P15. Still no points, but the pit stops haven't started, so there's still a opportunity for us to get some points. Now we've actually pulled up much closer to Kimi Räikkönen. I'm guessing maybe there's a car up front with some damage that's holding everyone back, or maybe it's just like the typical DRS train. But somehow we're still keeping up with everyone else. As you can see, Lance Stroll actually got past George Russell there, and they've actually lost quite a bit of time. Now onto the straight, can we make a move on Kimi Räikkönen? Unfortunately not, because he's also got the DRS, and we've also got the problem with the old downforce thing where we're so slow on the straights. But we're still gained about 2 tenths thanks to that advantage. Ooh, as we get closer, as we exit Parabolica, we are now getting much closer to Kimi Räikkönen, and we might even be able to make a couple of moves up this DRS train as we head through this race. But no moves so far, but you can see them just bunching up even more and more. And it looks like we have a McLaren leading the race if you look at the map. Kimi Räikkönen decides to pit and a couple of others, but I decide to stay out and take advantage of the DRS that I get from Daniel Ricciardo. Until we either get out of range or he pits, we're just going to stay out, because I think it's the best course of action. Because I'd rather not risk losing positions during the pit stop. But we've actually gotten closer to Daniel Ricciardo, so not having all that traffic in front of us has actually helped us quite a bit. But the question is, will Ricciardo's pace be good enough for us to not lose any time through the rest of the race? We will have to find out. And now on the next lap, now it is lap 9. I think Ricciardo might just want to pit right now. I'm just getting real close thinking about it, and he does. And so we do the exact same, just mirroring him. Hopefully we don't lose any time during this pit stop. But we were actually leading the race there with Ricciardo for a minute. As he goes in, one of the Aston Martins goes in as well. And now here we go, right at the end of the pit lane. With a nice 2.6 second stop, we just slot in behind Ricciardo. If we were just a bit faster, we would have gained a good amount of time, but unfortunately not. Perez goes past. Maybe might make a move down the inside. Well, I do. Just like that, super easy. You can see the whole bunch of cars at the back there. I even see a Ferrari there. Interesting. Now, even though this is a 25% race, I don't know why the other teams went for the hard tires. The hard tires kind of suck in terms of pace, and having that extra durability is not really going to help in such a short race. But now we're actually getting up close to Sergio Perez, who actually got past us as we were exiting the pits a couple of laps ago. Now, getting just a little bit, he doesn't have DRS, he goes for the defense, and we're going to try it around the outside, taking it easy, and ooh, we're going to get the move done.
Great maneuver, you made it look easy.
And now starting another lap, Sergio Perez now has the DRS on me, roles have been reversed, he's going to have a very easy time getting past. He's long gone before he even got to the braking zone. Now, as we head through the middle sector, still holding DRS, Perez has no one in front of him. We might be able to make a move down the main straight. As we still get closer, Ricciardo is up behind, maybe looking to make a move. Maybe those hard tires weren't such a bad choice after all, because they're still keeping up. We take the nice tight line, which shortens the distance we travel and gives us better lap times. Now on the main straight, Ricciardo is going to get a move on us. As we get closer and closer to Perez, almost squeezing Ricciardo off the track there. We try it around the outside. It's going to be the same as the last lap. Oh yes, it is. We are now up into P7. But now Perez is looking to come back and make another move. This drag is really causing a lot of problems, but makes for some good racing, you have to admit. Thankfully, we hold the defensive line and we stay ahead. And now heading on to the final straight. We're about to finish and cross the line, and P7. Is DRS really that slow? Yes it is, but it does make for some good racing. So while setup might be one of the ways to make yourself faster, changing your assists is another way to make yourself faster. So click on the video on the screen to find out how.